Hello. This video is going to walk us through summarizing. In the second unit, our writing assignment is an extension of what we did for the penny debate. This particular assignment calls on you to summarize the article first and then give your response. And summarizing is something that we do all the time in academic writing in our lives in general. Think about the last time you were at an event that your friend wasn't, um, and you have to tell them, kind of get them up to speed, get them ready to see what's going on. Summarizing in an academic sense has particular meanings. And before I get further, you have at the bottom of this video a link to a PowerPoint on summarizing. If you want to print that out and have a look, or just have it up on the screen next to this talking head thing, and right now it is a talking head thing, isn't it? I print mine off in 3 panels because it gives me this, and I can write notes in the side here and make sure that I've got all my stuff together. You can too. On the print function, if you just go down past where it says print the whole thing, you can click on that and it'll let you have so many slides per page. If you do 3, it gives you the note side on the side, so that's kind of helpful. In my mind, that's a little helpful. Okay, so back to the definitions. Summarizing in general is to state concisely. Basically shorten something up from its normal length into something that's more digestible, easily digestible. Now, sometimes we call this an abstract. If you're in scientific or technical writing, most papers start with an abstract. It gives you kind of the bottom line up front, little paragraph, instead of having to slog through 20 pages of stuff to find out whether or not this is going to be useful for you. Executive summaries, excuse me, all of these are the same idea written for specific audiences. In this case, it's a shorter version of an original text, having retained the salient parts. And salient, S-A-L-I-E-N-T, means a lot of different things. It's kind of a Latinish word. Here, it's the parts that really matter. Most articles have a lot of support documentation to them, a lot of supporting evidence and examples and things. And sometimes those are really necessary, but sometimes they're just there for support. They're necessary to the article, but maybe not necessary to the actual summary. Main ideas in the same order, with the same emphasis as the original author. Those are the 3 main ideas, 3 main rules. We summarize to relay information in a short amount of time. We summarize to show that we know what we're talking about. In a lot of articles, you'll see past research summarized. Sometimes this is called a literature review, and that's so that you can prove that you've done your homework. We use it to relay information to another person. Sometimes that's in an exam format. Sometimes on tests, you're asked to outline the causes of World War II, that kind of thing. That's a summary. It aids us in internalizing the text. If we really want to learn something, we have to make it our own. Sometimes we have to put it in our own words. That's another pseudo definition of summarizing. But it also helps us understand particular ideas and things on a personal level. And so if you can summarize correctly, and you can summarize so that somebody who hasn't read the article would understand what it's talking about, you've done your job. It is the basis of every book review and article review. Lots and lots and lots of different academic disciplines and careers and jobs and offices need this kind of information on a regular basis. Those of you working in the medical field, you will see all kinds of medical notes, and it's a summary of treatment for this particular patient, or a summary of how they got to be your patient. All kinds of things end up being summarized. It's the backbone of research. Like I've already said, we have a lot of summarizing to make sure that what you're saying is in line with the rest of the conversation on this particular topic. Also, kind of what has gone before. Those of you who play RPGs, you know it's important to know kind of where the game is at the time, and that's a summary, because if you had to go back and do it all again, that would take way too long and wouldn't be nearly as fun as the first time. How we do it, first of all, it starts with critical reading. You have to digest the article, the subject. You also have to make a detailed outline. Um, I take a lot of notes. I write things down. I'm a visual kinesthetic learner, and so the kinesthetic part is the whole writing things down. If I write things down, normally I have them in my head. Gets a little more tricky as I get older. But if I don't write them down, I don't have hope. So writing things down is important. Make sure you're also noting the ways that the author makes connections among the points, how the points lead to a conclusion. So it's more than just the facts that are there, it's how do we get to the end. Okay, what makes the end important? Make sure in a summary that you're using the author's best work. Their best examples should end up in your summary. Their also rans, not so much. Okay. When you interact with the text, it gives you a better chance of learning it for yourself, which is why I encourage you to print out the articles that we're using for class so you can write on them, make notes, highlight, do whatever you need to do. There is a little bit of back in responding to to academic articles. I talk a little bit about critical reading. Go back and look at those, read the handouts, make sure you're doing that kind of thing. The more detailed your outline is, the better your summary will be. Because in this case, you want to make sure that you're getting everything in the right order, the same order that the author used. Because we're writing, we can go back and edit, and we can put things in the correct order. It's not like when we're telling our best friend about the movie we saw and we forgot this important part, and we say, oh yeah, but there was this girl. Put the girl where it belongs, okay? Make sure that you're making notes again about how the author makes connections, what they're doing in the actual text, and how does the author build up to the conclusion. This is the big deal. If it's just a bunch of disjointed stuff and then it ends, it's not a very good article. What we're having you read are very good articles, very good stories. And so every piece of information counts, but some count more than others. Okay. Make sure in the end that you are putting things in the same order as the author did, that you are putting the same emphasis on things, whether you like them or not, and that you're getting to the end in a way that the author would approve of. If they read your summary, they'd be happy with it. Okay, so this is not the time to editorialize. This is not the time to put your opinion in. In this particular paper, that's the second paragraph. And that's your personal response. And that can go back to the responding to academic articles section. The summary is just the facts in the same order as the author, with the same emphasis on the various points, all leading up to the author's conclusion. Not too bad, right? Okay. Again, let me know if you have questions. I'm only an email away.